First Academy. What a story.
Yeah, let's see where the First Academy is located.
It's in the Orlando area for sure.
So what you saw it on what? Now to explain what happened
On Twitter.
It is in Orlando. What are you hearing about Chalk?
Okay, so on Twitter, Nice's coach posted a post that they're looking for a Week 11 opponent. Frank Beasley replied, "So are we," and then he wrote his phone number and he said, "Let's do it home or away."
Okay. All right, so 1 month ago, Florida judge rules number 61, the First Academy will not be allowed in playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs. Let's hope they don't.
First
take
Academy
it.
will have to wait another year before returning to the Florida High School playoffs Monday, according to USA Today's. Would have allowed TFA into the Class 1A Region 2 playoffs. So they're just the 1A school. But that Chaminade is also a 1A school.
Yeah.
So you never...
Well, American Heritage won the 2A state title as well. So they have 2 squads. They have 3 campuses in the state.
First Academy played one of the toughest schedules in the nation.
Yep. It's like it's
The Royals finished with a 5-5 record with 3 wins over High School Football America, 300 teams, including a 35-28 double overtime win over number 30 Lakeland 2 weeks ago. This is like a month ago.
Wow, they beat Lakeland?
Yeah, they
Lakeland
also lost
played
to
the state title game.
They also lost to number 5 St. Francis Academy out of Maryland, number 36 in the nation Central, Phoenix City out of Alabama, number 50,
You know who went there? Phillip Rivers.
number 55 Milton out of Georgia, and number 86 St. Bonaventure St. James Performance Academy. So they played a national schedule.
Yeah.
That would be
All
nuts.
those private schools
That would be
do.
nuts.
All those private schools do. But they are from the Orlando area.
I guess we're getting ready.
Brady has hand signals. That's what I like. Unless it's the middle finger.
Yeah.
Other than that, I like his hand signals. 20 seconds, he said.
All right.
I like fast.
Good morning and God bless America. You are listening to the Dan Diamond in the Morning Show. Substitute hosts today are Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks. Brady Books, we like to call him, because he's finishing up the books for this week at Choctawhatchee High School. Brady, you are technically on winter break now, are you not? Okay, all right. So, big plans over the holiday break. What do you got? What do you got ahead of you? It's the biggest state in the contiguous United States, so the lower 48. Alaska is, you could probably fit maybe 2 Texases into the entirety of Alaska.
So we're talking land-wise, not population.
No, yeah, population-wise, it's definitely California,
Right.
no question. All right, cool. Kevin, you sticking around for the holidays?
I will be here locally like I have been every year of my life.
All right, I'll be traveling to Watertown. Well, I've got a bit of an adventure. So tomorrow, and you'll hear me talk about it plenty in the next hour because we'll have Ms. Anna Calhoun, owner of Goofy Golf, at 8:30, and we'll be talking about the Candy Cane Classic. So my big start to my holiday will be the Candy Cane Classic, which is a really cool miniature golf tournament that I'm putting on tomorrow. There's still actually a couple slots for teams if you are interested. There's going to be a visit by Santa Claus, a food truck from the Roadie Brothers. There's going to be s'mores given out by Mills Heating and Air. And yeah, that's right. I mean, there's going to be a pop-up local museum, so to speak. I'm going to be having some local artifacts from my own personal collection on display throughout the course, and we'll talk more about that in the 8:30 segment. But after that Candy Cane Classic, I'm going to go try to get some sleep. You never know with my insomnia when I can get my sleep cycle, my circadian rhythm going. But then I've got to start a 10-hour drive to Greensboro, North Carolina, and I do this several times a year. It's because that's where my kids live. And I will be leaving my car in Greensboro, North Carolina, because my kids won't be there at that point. They're still with their mother. They're going to go to some beach house on the east coast of North Carolina. But I'm going to leave my car there, and then I'm going to fly out of Greensboro to Watertown, New York, which is like almost in Canada. It's north of Buffalo. It's upstate New York, right next to Lake Ontario. It's where my girlfriend grew up. And I will be getting a white Christmas. I don't know if it's going to snow on Christmas Day, but there would definitely be snow all around me. So does that count? Does that count as a white Christmas if it doesn't actually snow on the day of, but it's clear you're immersed in a snowy atmosphere? Is that a white Christmas?
I think if you're from Florida, absolutely that counts.
Okay, yeah. So maybe with an asterisk, but and who knows? Maybe we'll get a couple flakes that'll fall regardless. And I know if I was in Florida, if I saw one flake falling on the ground on Christmas Day, I would call that a white Christmas. So I will be on the lookout for that. Then I'm going to be flying back from Watertown to Greensboro on the 27th, and then picking up my kids, who will then be there in Greensboro. My car will already be there.
Where are you going to be leaving your car at the airport?
I'm going to leave it at my ex-wife's house.
Okay, I would say that would be quite a pretty penny leaving at the airport for that amount of time.
And I'm going to take a Lyft. Thank you for paying attention and wanting those extra details.
Because I was thinking about it the whole time.
So I will be catching a Lyft to and from the airport, and then my car will be waiting for me, and I'll meet up with it at the same time. I'll have my kids, and then I'll begin the 10-hour drive back here. So there will be no Fort Walton Beach what we're doing next week, because I will be on my own vacation, just like I'm covering for Dan Diamond's vacation, and you guys have been covering with me all week. And I really appreciate it. And we really appreciate you listening. And if you would like to give the station a call and participate, it'd be fun. We'd love to have your input. 850-374-3468. Again, 850-374-3468. If you'd like to talk about really anything. We are a local news show. We are even a national news show. So lots of national news headlines. I mean, we could start with the big. A lot of you who are just waking up might not have stayed up all the way to the end of the big NFL game last night that was airing on Amazon Prime. Brady, you watched the entirety of the game, did you not? Okay, so that'll be a tease.
The ageless Matthew Stafford was a big game.
Absolutely.
I mean, we talk about Phillip Rivers and we talk about Teddy Bridgewater, but Matthew Stafford's got to be up there. Seemed like he played for Georgia in the 90s.
Yeah, other news that we can tease and talk about when we get to the next segment, the tragic deaths of Greg Biffle and his family, ex-NASCAR driver, and just all around good guy. It's always tragic anytime there's a plane crash, and this one just makes particular news because it involved a person who's kind of known, and especially in the sports world, and the tragic nature of his entire family being, going down with him. And then we've got the coach at the University of Ohio, the Bobcats, not the Buckeyes, the Bobcats, being released from his duties for a similar. I mean, we don't want to make too many. It's kind of apples and oranges, but one aspect of the reason why he was released was very similar to why Sharon Moore was given the heave ho from the University of Michigan. Of course, Sharon Moore helped himself along in that regard as well. So lots of things that we can talk along the way. If you'd like to be a part of it, 850-374-3468. We could talk about the Brown University shooting that was connected to the MIT shooting, and that all came to a really, really bizarre, thankful conclusion last night. But so many questions remain about the circumstances behind the gentleman that gave the information to the police and really busted the case wide open. So we can talk about that. We can talk about President Bush's address to the nation the other night. Kevin, Brady, you got anything on your mind you want to make sure we talk about in this first hour?
Well, I think that was the most bizarre part of the whole story. Was from what I read on Channel 25 out of Boston social media, he was homeless yet living in the basement of Brown University, but yet he was a Brown University grad, and it's an Ivy League grad homeless was just head scratching.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that on the next break, along with a bunch of other cool things that, well, not cool, but I mean, noteworthy things to talk about. Yeah. The Dan Diamond in the Morning Show. Thanks for sticking around.
Jackson Smith and the Jig, but he had 0 at halftime. Ended up with 108, I think. He won me some money on Underdog.
Yeah. But I had a hate watch relationship with him last night as well. A love hate watch relationship actually, because I'm in 2 fantasy leagues and I made the championship of both of them, and he's on my team in one of the leagues and against me in the other. Now I'm favored very heavily in the league that before the game even happened. I was already favored very heavily to win because I won last week by a lot, and it takes 2 weeks totals and combines it. And so I was kind of rooting for Puka Nacua to hold back on this one because my opponent in the other game had him, and Nacua went off. He scored 46.5 points on a Thursday night on Amazon Prime, and an overtime game that went all the way down to the absolute wire. And it's one thing to say that Seahawks won 38-37, but the way that it happened, they were down by 16 points in the fourth quarter. And that was the second turnover at the 1 yard line, because at the end of at the end of halftime, Seattle was driving down the field. Cooper Kupp had caught an incredible pass. He was approaching the end zone, and then he fumbled it, and it was recovered by the Rams at the 1. So it really stole the momentum away from the Seahawks at the end of the first half. I mean, there's so many mini storylines within this one single game, and I didn't even watch it. I watched only the first half and then fell asleep, and then I woke up to a text from my son Jack, who said the Seahawks came back in a ridiculous overtime thriller. So then I went to YouTube and I watched the highlights of the game, and there's a 22-minute video of the highlights of the entire game. They put it all together for you, and you can kind of get almost all of the emotional feel from that. And man, I wish I would have stayed awake for it. So anyway, I didn't mean to steal your story, Brady. Continue. And he did that with Matthew Stafford, and we've just given him his flowers. And the Rams lost the game. Now let's talk about the comeback by the Seahawks, down by 16, and the just fantastical way that it happened. Mm-hmm. Yes. Please do. But maybe not even an inch, maybe a millimeter or two.
It's a live ball.
So it's essentially a fumble after it. A 2-point conversion. It counted as a 2-point conversion. Instead, it tied the game and sent it into overtime, which in and of itself was wild. You know, the old overtime rules, with that Puka Nakua touchdown would have ended the game, but with the new overtime rules, they give the other team a chance in overtime, at least one possession, to do the same thing. So the Seahawks had to get touchdown or bust after the Rams got that touchdown in overtime. And they drove all the way down. They went took 8 plays. And they had decision time. They scored a touchdown, and they had, we could either kick the extra point and likely end this game in a tie, but there was still 3 minutes left, so you'd be chancing that the other team could advance the ball down and end up kicking a field goal and win anyway, or might as well just go for 2 points. And they ended up throwing it to the third tight end who hadn't touched the ball all game long and probably only has 2 catches in the entire season. And it was just an incredible game that most of America missed. What if the Packers were to tie again, and then I'm like, what if for draft seeding, let's say you have a team that goes 1-17, and then a team that goes that has 2 ties but never wins a game, and so 2 ties and 15 losses. Who would get the higher draft seeding? Did I articulate that correctly?
Yeah. It does. The team, if you have 0 wins, you will get the number 1 pick in the draft. It's not like the stupid NBA where your ping pong ball decides your future.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, you're listening to the Dan Diamond in the Morning Show, your substitute host because Dan is on vacation. Mr. Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Books. Stick around.
They weren't the only ones that saw some sports drama last night. You missed that Knicks-Pacers game was unreal.
Oh, yeah?
The Knicks were down by 2 with 1.2 seconds left, and Jalen Brunson basically just buried like a buzzer beater half-court 3 for the walk-off win.
Oh, nice.
Jalen Brunson will be on the next Olympics USA basketball team. And both teams were playing without. The Pacers were out their star and MVP candidate Tyrese Halliburton, and the Knicks did not have Karl Anthony Towns, who is averaging a double-double. And this would be 4 straight years he could finish the whole season averaging a double-double.
Wow.
You know, whether they're good or not in college, these Kentucky guys just are always stars in the NBA.
How's that Asa Newell guy doing?
I meant to check the other day and I haven't. I don't even know if he's with the Pelicans or the Hawks.
I thought yeah, you're right. I don't know either.
Because he was one of those swap-up draft picks. He was picked 17th and went to the team that picked 16th. Or vice versa. How do you have him and his twin brother, who plays for Georgia, and Jace Brown at point guard, and not get out of the first round of the playoffs?
I don't
Sorry,
know.
Coach Thigpen, but facts are facts. You have an NBA lottery pick. You have one of the best wide receivers in college football.
Skipper's Dock, Seafood Market, and Steam Machines.
Is that Willie Gaucher and Chet Walker's
Yes.
place?
Yes.
Is Willie still involved in that, or
Yes.
just Chet?
And we'll be talking about that.
Okay.
But Chet will be the guest.
You know, Willie's son is a starting point guard for Megs, who's coached by Magic Hall. If you have 0 wins,
Yeah,
your
okay,
win
so
percentage
I
is
guess
0.
not 0. 1 and 16 versus 2 ties and 15 losses. Yes.
0 wins always gets the first pick.
Okay. Willie Gaucher.
Yeah, his son is a starting point guard at Megs, Willie Gaucher, who's coached by Choctaw's Magic Hall.
1990.
Someone being in Pensacola with my girlfriend. Haven't told her this yet, but guess what?
What's that?
And I'll talk about this. Choctaw happens to be playing in a tournament at Pensacola Catholic at 3:30 against Blount High School from the Mobile area.
Really?
So I will be supporting in person the Choctaw basketball team on the road. I talked to Coach Bennett this morning.
Okay. We need to get him on the basketball coach on here.
I don't think we want that.
No?
No.
Okay.
They desperately need a PA guy at the games, though. The coach is doing it, and it's a train wreck.
Skipper's Dock.
But it's very promising
Seafood
future.
Market and Steam Machine.
We start a freshman, 3 sophomores, and then a senior in Michael Collins. And we're 6-4 and 2-1 in the district. It's very promising. Our rating score is a 9th grader averaging 20 points a game. I don't know where he's from, but he came with the new coach, whoever the new coach came from. His name is Blaze Childers.
Nice. Yeah.
White kid.
Really?
Yeah. Duncan is a freshman averaging 20 a game. Our starting point guard, Kedar Washington, freshman averaging 12 a game. I think there's a lot to look forward to. And we have a very young coach who hopefully will take the Frank Beasley way and, bring kids in.
Yeah.
He seems like the type to where, your Mark Teases and your Benny Gabbards and your Andy Thigpens are going to play it by the book and not do that.
Alright, so I'm just getting ChatGPT to give some questions for Chat. Perfect. Okay, good. Yeah, it's amazing what ChatGPT. Look at these questions that ChatGPT just spat out for me, just off of the little bit of information I just gave it about Chet Walker.
Live and local. Dan Diamond, 729 on 94.3 FGW.
I do not. I'm an old 90s heavy metal guy.
We've been making pretty good light. We've talked about a good football game. So far, we have more things to talk about, but I think it's going to be important to comment on something that has affected people around the area and around the county. Destin High School football coach Eric Gibbons has unfortunately passed away. There are no details about the cause of his death.
Chef. Yeah, that's got to be tough. And it's funny that Destin High School is making the news because I just read yesterday they are hiring a new principal at some point before Christmas break ends, apparently.
Yeah, Destin's all over the news. Actually, there is a Okaloosa County Commissioner Drew Palmer is inviting residents to share their input on a newly acquired 4-acre waterfront property on Holiday Isle that the county plans to develop into a public park. So if you have any desire to add your input, there is a town hall meeting scheduled for Tuesday, December the 30th at 3 p.m. So this is going to be really our last opportunity to let you know about that on this show because of the holiday break. I guess we'll have Monday the 29th that we can still remind you of. But it's important. This is a big thing. The town hall meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 30th, 2025 at 3 p.m. at the Destin Fort Walton Beach Convention Center. County staff will give a brief presentation followed by an opportunity for attendees to provide feedback and suggestions on the park's design and use. This is an amazing opportunity to create something special on that property for the benefit of Okaloosa County residents and visitors, said Commissioner Palmer of District 5. Quote, "We are committed to keeping this process open to the public and value their input as we move toward finalizing the details of this endeavor," unquote. The property boasts scenic views of Destin East Pass and Destin Harbor with access to the adjacent Noriego Park. Once slated for a dense condominium project, the site includes a new 53-slip marina and seawalls, but otherwise remains an open 4-acre canvas for park development. The county has pledged $5 million toward improvements and is in the early stages of planning. So this information actually came from Mid-Bay News. I want to give credit to them. They are an excellent provider of local news, and this article was provided by their staff. But Colin Bester and Christopher Saul, you guys do a great job over there at Mid-Bay News, and thank you for keeping the public aware, helping to keep the public aware of things like this. You know, the Holiday Isle, I'm glad that they didn't build those 53 condominiums on that little stretch. It would have, there's already enough. There's enough opinions out there about what stands at the foot of the Destin Bridge anyway, and why add more food to the fodder? I guess I don't know if I said that right, but I think this is a boating community. I think it makes sense to have all those slips there, and I think it's wise. We get one shot to develop or to not develop that 4 acres of leftover property and to perhaps leave it pristine and accessible and maintained and beautiful and undeveloped.
Yeah, docking's always a big issue in an area like this. So much, it's basically surrounded by water with so many watercrafts.
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure that there's enough space for everyone to be able to dock safely.
Greg Biffle and his family
Yeah, rest in peace to Greg Biffle and the entire family. He was also a certified helicopter pilot and was known for assisting in the Western North Carolina aftermath of the hurricane. The hurricane escapes me. There's so many of them, but the one that made it all the way up to North Carolina and caused all the flooding, and it took out Interstate 40. caused massive mudslides, wiped out entire towns. He was heavily involved in assisting with the relief effort of that. So.
In lighter news, we're going to talk about the football and Lady Vikings and basketball.
Yes. Well, yeah, that's fine. But while you do that, I will say that I still haven't been able to lock in a specific time, but I did communicate yesterday with Coach Claiborne, and she is definitely interested. She said, "I'm sorry it took me so long to get back with you. We had practice in a big game against Niceville. We are free tomorrow or next week." So this was yesterday when she said tomorrow, and I was like, "Yeah, tomorrow would be great." She said, "Any idea of a time?" I was trying to get her on this segment actually, but she's also a coach and an educator, and even though you're off today, it's still a teacher work day, and there's no guarantee. So we're still trying to get her on for this afternoon show from 3 to 5 p.m. But we definitely want to lift up the Lady Vikings. Coach Claiborne has done an incredible job. Are you ready to go? All right.
All right, so the Fort Walton Beach Lady Vikings basketball team is going to be in a break. Last one was 2 days ago on the 17th of December. They went to the court for going to the So let's just recap the first half of their season. They played 2 different games on the undefeated or district state conference. Their overall record, undefeated, 11 wins, 0 losses. They outscored opponents 623 to 345 by 300 points in that game. Let's go over some highlights of the season. The big opening day win against Preston, where they won the Preston second semester by 24 points. And all these games were pretty well out. They won their Busy United 44, they had 50, they beat by 24, Mosley they beat by 20, Concourse they beat by 11, Rutherford they beat by 60 points, 71 to 11, and then Rickards they beat by 21, Bay they beat by 24. We didn't have a single game within 10 points in the first 8 games of the year.
Nuts.
Rutherford was a regional finalist last year in girls basketball also.
And then the last 3 games have really been most impressive. The Choctaw girls basketball team had 60 calls, 64 and 65 over the years. Strong and impressive games like Brown so far. They have a really hard strength of schedule. But it's still the big dogs. So 50 still a win at more versus 18-1. When they go to West Florida, they beat them by 24. And then Niceville was the game they played last half. Wednesday night at 45 to 1 there. Niceville falls to 1-2 and more than this year.
Hopefully we can get Coach Claiborne on to talk about their Lady Vikings during Fort Walton Beach, what we're doing, which airs 3 to 5 p.m. on this same station. You are listening to Dan Diamond in the Morning with Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Books. Stick around. People probably think I have a list because I keep saying his name wrong. They probably think I've got a speech impediment. Okay. 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 We could all, Irish Bill at 4:00 today, by the way.
Oh, cool. He's awesome. We can also tell Brady he can change that Choctaw 6-4 to 7-4 because they beat Crestview last night and are now 2-1 against the county. They beat Niceville and they beat Crestview. Their only loss is to Fort Walton. Don frickin' Brown, man, that guy's got more plays than Broadway. I mean, what a vet. 4 state championship games. I mean, Don Brown was a vet. He also played for the Cincinnati Reds. So you said that Fort Walton beats Destin Convention Center. Is that the one on the island? Did that already
Yes.
change names? Wasn't it the Emerald Coast Convention Center when it opened?
Maybe?
I think it's already changed names. I would swear it was the Emerald Coast Convention Center.
Okay, let me finish reading this Ohio thing. The student engaged in preference before complete consensual adult. He said Smith and student dated for about 4 months until earlier that the student was planning. Also responded to Gonzalez for consuming alcohol in his office at the school as a reason for his termination.
All coaches probably consume alcohol in their offices after a loss.
He was aware of a public appearance where Smith smelled strongly of alcohol and was intoxicated in your demeanor. Elliott wrote that Smith has never been inebriated.
The Reinersons met at Ohio University, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, that's where they met. Mr. and Mrs. Dick and Janie. That would tie into Fort Walton.
Yeah. Smith went 8-4 in his lone season as Ohio's coach after being promoted to the role from offensive coordinator. Didn't they have a big win over West Virginia or?
I don't know if that was this year or last year, but yes, they did.
I mean, he went 8-4. It's pretty good for the Bobcats,
they got great colors, great jerseys.
One of those losses was against the Buckeyes. We know
Yeah.
the Buckeyes haven't lost to a school from Ohio since 1921.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Well, I mean, who do you got? Ohio, Youngstown State,
Bowling Green,
Cleveland State,
Kent State.
yes, Kent State, Toledo,
Um,
Akron,
Miami of Ohio.
the whole MAC.
Yeah. That sounds even worse. Is he still breathing? Okay. All right. Gotcha. So there was no work, relationship, subordinate type thing. Just one drink, but a few assistants. Sure. Hmm. It also happened in the shadow of the firing of Sharon Moore. So any appearance of impropriety at all is going to be magnified to the nth degree, of course. And I think perhaps if this had happened on its own in a vacuum, 8-4 season in your first year for the University of Ohio Bobcats, that is a solid year. I mean, one of those losses came to Ohio State, and that's a given because I don't know, Brady, were you actually aware? You might not know this, but Ohio State Buckeyes have not lost a football game to another program from the state of Ohio since the early 1920s. That's an insane stat. So yeah, and the Bobcats had a big win earlier this season over, I think it was West Virginia. So they were making noise, and that's something that the MAC doesn't tend to usually do, and certainly not the Bobcats from Ohio University. So he no, go ahead. Related to Ohio University. Okay, I thought you were quizzing me, but you're actually looking to. No, I don't remember off the top of my head. Okay, no problem. Well, and in his letter, obviously the coach at the University of Ohio is a little perturbed by this, so he is going to pursue vigorously pursue litigation for wrongful termination if Ohio fired him for cause. He went 8-4 in his lone season after being promoted to the role from offensive coordinator. He had been on the football staff since 2022. So I don't know. Maybe there was a pattern of alcoholism and maybe no rules were broken in regard to the student relationship or the appearance of impropriety of bringing young people who were legally allowed to do what they were going to do. But just all those factors together, I guess they decided to cut their losses. Were you able to remember what it was you were?
Actually, a little twist in the case. He did have a registered storage unit at that facility, but the one he was found in was not his.
Really?
Yes, so it was either vacant or he used bolt cutters.
What a bizarre unfolding set of facts as we learned more and more about this. And part of it was due to perceptions that the Brown University Police Department and the Providence Police Department were withholding information, and there's something to be said about that. Either they were or they're just doing not a good job of communicating to the public. But I'll tell you what we did find out was this does not appear to be related to like the Australia mass shooting. That definitely had a tie to anti-Semitism and Hanukkah. And there was a lot of assumptions that maybe this was because it happened at the same time, it could possibly be that. And of course you saw memes spreading around about Brown University scrubbing its records of someone that appeared to be of the Muslim faith and maybe even it doesn't matter anymore. But this news story is a good microcosm of how quickly we are to react to we want to fill in the gaps with our own confirmation biases about, well, of course they're not sharing the information because it's, you know, it's this type of community and they have something against this type of community. And so, you know, this is a good lesson for us all to just kind of take a step back when this happens, and no one knows everything, but there's so many bizarre details that surround this. Apparently the person that tipped off the police and to the person that's now deceased was a homeless person, a homeless graduate of Brown University who was living in the basement of the same building where the shooting took place on campus. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rudy, Brady. You probably have because you're a sports fan. I picture like when Rudy was down on his luck and he was allowed to sneak in through the window and live in the janitorial closet, you know, on the low. Apparently, Brown University has a known resident. I mean, people knew of him living in the basement. This person that tipped off the police, and apparently he saw the shooter prior to everything happening in the bathroom. Made eye contact with him. He was dressed kind of in a way that didn't appear like he belonged there. And then he followed him out of the building. And again, this is before the shooting happened. He noticed he had a gray Nissan Sentra that was parked, and to the car, maybe walked around it a little bit, but didn't get into it. And then for some reason, he decided to walk around the campus, and this homeless person was, I don't know, they had a feeling, and they decided to follow them as well. And this is where grainy security camera footage picks up from a distance. You can kind of see both of these individuals kind of meeting, and they're shielded by a fence and some shrubbery, but the homeless person kind of turns around and runs away. So the police yesterday were looking for that person, not as a person of interest in the shooting, but hey, what was it that caused that sort of thing? Good for him. I think he deserves it. I still want some more answers as to his living arrangements, though. You're listening to Dan Diamond in the Morning. We're going to be followed in the next segment by Mr. Chet Walker, who has Skipper's Steam Machine down over in Destin, and we're going to be talking to him about some upcoming things that he's got going on. Thanks for listening to Dan Diamond in the Morning. I can never get his damn Skipper's Dock. Skipper's Dock.
Is he coming or calling?
He's calling. Skipper's Dock Seafood. Skipper's Seafood Dock and Steam Machine.
He went to high school with one of my cousins. I don't know if it was Greg or... Well, they went at the same time, so I guess he went with both of them.
Skipper's Dock and Steam Machine. Skipper's Dock and Steam Machine. Skipper's Dock and Steam Machine.
Go to Michigan Institute of Technology.
All right, Chet, take us back to the beginning. How did the idea for Skipper's Dock and Steam Machine come together? How and why was Destin the perfect place for it? For folks who haven't been yet, how do you describe Skipper's Dock in one sentence? What makes it different from every other seafood spot on the seafood Post? You're not just a restaurant, you're also a seafood market. Walk listeners through the experience of picking out their own seafood and watching it get steamed. What's up?
That what we did post that I shared yesterday about Frank Walls, this lady commented and said that one brother and 5 sisters of the victim passed since then, and 2 of her kids.
Wow.
Well, you can feel free to bring it up. We can talk about it.
At some point, just because,
Yeah, we'll have, in fact, after this segment, the long one, because I really only want to have Chet on for this one. So that next 12-minute segment, perfect for Frank Walls. We'll do Anna Calhoun at 8:30. We might take her to the end.
Yeah, I found a YouTube vigil service held for Frank Walls. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I did.
And it was a lady, she was the main spokeswoman for penalties alternative to the death penalty or something. And
The lefty.
She was just breaking down, like,
Of course she was.
crying, just talking about how in all the situations you've seen, families 10, 15 years down the line wonder why they didn't see closure in that execution room in the Florida Department of the DCF or whatever it was, DFC. Doesn't ever like offer counseling to these families or anything. This is kind of a short-ended process.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I was just like, you don't live around here, you don't really understand, but.
Don't forget to call Chet. Did you want to talk about that First Academy niece tweet?
I know, and
Nah.
nothing's official on it.
Yeah, let's not.
It's Franco. Frank can be a dick sometimes.
What's that?
Frank can be a dick sometimes.
The whole school can. I haven't been treated.
Except for David Weber, he's the baseball coach. He's great.
Yeah, I haven't been entirely welcomed with open arms, or I mean, I think they don't trust me because of I've got a lot of power. I could.
Yeah.
There's rats in my room. I got a lot of power.
Big Penske.
But then again, they have some power on me too.
Yeah, true.
So it's.
But they don't have a super public forum, and they have.
Video of me. What do the kids call it? Crashing out on a student.
Oh.
Like absolutely crashing out. I was basically mimicking her, and I had taken all I could take, and I was like, and so I was basically mirroring her behavior that she was always giving to me, but
Right.
getting up in her face. I was like, oh, but on this.
What did they like call you in the office and
is
show
not a
you
big
the
deal.
video?
Yes.
Like
yes.
you're a student?
It was a student that would film me.
explain this?
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Y'all
That was the
see
beginning of the
you should have.
That was.
You sounded like the Aiden Quinn in Legends of Fall. To make no matter one of her,
It
yeah.
was just my momentary lapse of. I didn't do anything. I didn't break any laws. I'm
No.
perfectly rehireable. I just matched her energy and was immature for about 15 seconds.
You could always pull a Josh
Yeah.
Boehm and go to that school over on Wright Parkway. Is Brady calling shit?
Skipper's seafood, dock, and steam machine. Such a tongue twister for me.
Oh, Bradyville. So I apparently must have a few minutes. That means it's the top of the hour, doesn't it? Yes, it does.
Yeah. Gonna be back in 1 minute. Degrees. It's gonna get cold tonight. Yeah. Okay. And welcome back to the Dan Diamond in the Morning Show. You are joined by your guest hosts, Gareth Stearns and Kevin Horgan and Brady Brooks. Sometimes I say books, and I can't decide which one sounds better. So if you hear it flip-flop, I don't have a speech impediment. I just haven't made up my mind yet which one sounds good. We call him Brady Books because he's always hitting the books. He's so good with, like, just on-the-money statistics, especially live in-game as they happened. And I haven't seen him attempt anything that he hasn't excelled at doing so far. So maybe Brady Books is it. Either way, we appreciate what he does. He's pushing the buttons, answering the phones today. If you would like to give us a call at the studio, it's 850-374-3468. But for this next segment, we're actually going to be joined by Mr. Chet Walker of Skipper's Dock and Steam Machine. And I may have said that incorrect. It may be Skipper's Seafood Dock and Steam Machine. It's such a tongue twister for me. Chet, can you first of all, good morning, Chet. Thank you for joining us. Skipper's Dock and Steam Machine. I don't know why I want to throw a seafood in there. Maybe it's because you have so much of it in there. Ah, okay. Look at you branching out already. Well, take us back to the beginning then. How did the idea for Skipper's come about? How did it come together? And why was Destin the perfect place for it? Ooh. Well, okay. You just took it in a direction that I wasn't necessarily prepared to go. None of my questions have faith tied into them, but that's obviously a big component of your life. So tell me a little bit more about how you felt steered toward this new direction. And congratulations on your recovery, by the way. Man, that's great. That's an awesome success story. And you mentioned some people that have been partners with you along the way. Correct me if I'm not. Do you not co-own the place with Willie Gaucher? Mm-hmm. He is. He's a great guy. Now, you mentioned you're not just a restaurant. You're a seafood market. So walk listeners through the experience of picking out their own seafood and watching it get steamed right in front of them. Okay, so what's happening tonight at 5 o'clock then? what a neat idea. How many fire pits do you have? Is it one? I really got to go over and see this. What a really neat idea. I'm going to have my kids with me over the holidays, and make sure you send me a Facebook message to remind me in about a week when I have them, because I definitely want to come by and see you and check that out. That sounds like a really fun time. Oh man, Chet Walker, you the man, and thank you so much for being a sponsor of Choctawhatchee football throughout the season. It was just a joy being able to record a commercial for you, and anything I can do to help lift you up, I want to do. You're a success story. I wish you luck in all of your continued endeavors and in your recovery. And if for anyone listening right now who's hungry and who hasn't been yet or hasn't been back in a while, what's your invitation to get them to come on out to Skippers? I love it, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey, Chet, this is Kevin. Real quick, do you want to give everybody your hours of operation?
Every day from 3 to 8 p.m. Chet Walker of Skippers, Dock, and Steam Machine. Did I say it right? Skippers? I'm going to work on it. It's a tongue twister. But thank you so much for joining us on Dan Diamond in the Morning. You are the man, Chet Walker. I will definitely be in touch. I will definitely be bringing by my kids over the holiday season, checking out the making s'mores and barbecuing shrimp, and that's a fun little idea, man.
Sounds good.
All right. All right. Thank you once again. God bless. Merry Christmas, Chet Walker. You are listening to the Dan Diamond in the Morning Show with Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks. Stick around. Okay, so it's probably 2-minute break.
Is that your diction?
Yeah.
Expectations were flying high. Bobby was an Air Force pilot. Holly loved his life. Well, she was a pilot too.
It wasn't until survival training that they actually met at a Bible study that Bobby started.
Anna Calhoun's going to be in studio at 8:30, so one of us is going to have to rotate
I'll
somehow.
go. Well, just sit Indian style and stare at you.
All right. And then we can Indian leg wrestle after the fact.
Yeah.
And we can give Indian burns.
Or be Indian givers.
Mm-hmm. What if Choctaw just, to avoid all the controversy of the Native American stuff, they kept it the big green Indians, but they were just like from India, like from
Had a little dot on there.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Well, I've heard
the same
rumors that they
colors.
possibly were going to have to become the Choctawhatchee Big Green. Like Cleveland Guardians, Washington Redskins thing.
No, let's not perpetuate it.
No, I don't want to talk about it, but that's what I had heard a year or two ago.
Are you able to record, like, get a screen recording of this? He would like to have a copy of this segment.
I can try.
Okay. I'm not live on Facebook for this one, period, and we don't necessarily record every show, period. My friend is doing it on YouTube, so we may be able to get a screen recording, period. I'll let you know, period. Former resident of this earth.
Via lethal injection, and 46 men have been executed by court order so far in the U.S. history. Of those 46, 19 considered innocent. Very strong advocate for the death penalty or and he was the final one to sign off on the Frank Wells execution. That's what kind of tipped all the dominoes to the resignation of the long process eventually finally signed off on it. You know, this was long overdue. He had a double board with Oliver Peterson. Also admitted after the election about Tony Whitty and Sidney Chandra. This is 5 murders at least that we know of. We have some more information about how it all went down. So the AP reported that at 6 Eastern to 5 p.m. our time, the person who was committed that also strapped to a gurney and mostly covered by one of his left arm was sustained. At the foot of the gurney was a traffic street and some all through an apology and a brief statement, Alex Rucker, the spokesperson for the Walter reportedly said, "Good evening, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to say what's on my heart. And I'm particularly here and sorry for all the different tragedies and all that you have suffered for this. It's officially over in terms of the families. A lot of them can officially start to consider being the morning of the evening and start their recovery. They're crazy as much as the families. It's a lot. A lot of people
And yeah, it's gotten mostly positive reactions on Facebook in terms of the outcome. You know, capital punishment is one of those polarizing factors that divides the right and the left. But when it hits this close to home, and a lot of that divide comes from the uncertainty of some cases where maybe perhaps an innocent person has been put to death, and even if it happens one time, that's one time too many. In this particular case, you were seeing a lot of. We had one caller that was very closely affected by Frank Walls. Their grandmother was one of the victims, and they aligned themselves on the liberal side of the political spectrum, but as a proponent of capital punishment when it came to this. And I think when there's clear cut evidence and the killer has admitted to it, I think it's not difficult to come together on this. That being said, Brady, you mentioned that there was a vigil in that was in, I don't know how to say it, not in support of Frank Walls, but certainly against his life coming to an end the way that it did.
I really wish that I watched more of it. I know it started during our show what we were doing in the tie yesterday, and it ended well. I'm not sure how much we participated in the situation. I know there was one video that was involved in the organization. I believe it was penalties alternative prevention. Kind of spoke on when it wasn't all hard. I'll give her that. He was trying to use arguments. It wasn't in defense of her right. It was capital punishment. You know, that's when they talk about how families in these situations can see before firsthand that it's 20, 30 years later they regret having this person put to death and they feel like nothing really changed in that institution. And you know, I suppose it's a fair argument to have if you're hurt, however, the you know, if it really does come down to the person and the needs, and as far as I know, they completely in support of this happening, it's what they're using. I think the team really does come down to them and taking their decision. I will add that the Governor DeSantis advocate, and I can say he's a strong advocate for the death penalty, and they have made this work for Houston County, and they as well, and their family members for those people. That's something we have we've been seeing in international relations. That's what we need to do. They don't quite understand. I do have a comment recently that shared some posts about people who used to call me and talk about Susan Gonzalez said he talked to a coworker, Mark Lloyd said that as a coworker Audrey Beebe's coworker said that she always came in early and used coffee for everybody.
She worked at Keltec and she never missed a day.
Never missed a day, always came in and made coffee, and he knew there was something wrong with him. Susan Gonzalez. Since the death of Audrey Beebe and the Beebe family people phone calls, Audrey has lost one brother, 5 sisters, and 2 kids. Never got to see justice. Directed to their mother and their sister Becky. It's like 8 people. Family members, just Audrey Beebe, there was 4 other victims and 4 family members. Suffering back from the
Yes, and we should be saying their names as much as possible. And I got to tell you, Brady, because you've been filling in for me as a co-host on Fort Walton Beach, what we're doing every day, because we've been pulling double duty this week as we substitute for Dan Diamond. And my father listened to the show, and he called, I don't know, a couple minutes right after the show ended, and he said, "Hey, is your partner Brady still there?" And I said, "No, Dad, you just missed him." He's like, "Well, when you see him again, you tell him that I was very moved by the closing to your show yesterday. What he said was absolutely perfect. And he told me that I did a good job by saying nothing after you were done and allowing the show to end with your words." So I wanted to let you know that you do have a very good way with words. No problem.
I just asked you honestly, I turned out really, I know that he's 3 years old, and this is the lady who has
Yeah, you don't have to look far to find or hear about someone who was negatively impacted by that person who no longer exists. And if you would like to have your say about it, or if you'd like to talk about anything that we've talked about, you can reach us at the studio at 850-374-3468. That's kind of how radio used to work back in the day. You'd have a show, you'd have a phone number, you'd have callers that would actually call in and give you some fresh perspective on things, or maybe a counterpoint to something you've said, or maybe a little more in-depth direction on something that you touched on earlier but only glossed over. So it's, believe it or not, 2 hours a day, 10 hours a week is a lot of airtime to fill, and we would love to have your audience participation with that. So give us a call, 850-374-3468. If you want to talk about the Brown University shooting that's connected to the MIT shooting, and the ultimate end of life that came to that person last night in a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire. We could talk about that. We could talk about the incredibly insane ending to the NFL football game between the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. We could talk about this. So this is one that's kind of near and dear to my heart because I do travel as much as I possibly can, and when possible, I like to go through the airports. Something that happened after 9/11, in addition to having to take off all of our shoes, which has finally come to an end. People that weren't traveling, like family members that were not traveling on the airplane, stopped being able to go through security and say goodbye to their family members as they departed. And there are airports around the country that are now lifting those restrictions to the non-traveling public. So an airport tradition of years gone by is slowly making its way back to certain locations in the U.S. following massive changes in air travel security procedures after the terror attacks on September 11th. Oakland San Francisco Bay Airport in California announced this week it's going to be introducing guest passes for non-passengers, for example. Visitors can proceed to the post-security side of the passenger terminal to accompany friends or loved ones who are flying out. Non-passengers must apply online for security clearance. So it's with conditions, but with baby steps, we're finally beginning to return to some semblance of travel normalcy. I love not having to take my shoes off anymore as I go through and have to go through the mental checklist of removing my belt and there's all the things. Did I take my Swiss Army knife out of my travel my shampoo bag and
I
nice.
was thinking that.
Nice segue. Yeah, we're gonna need him a lot next year. Next segment, we're gonna be joined in studio by Anna Calhoun, owner of Goofy Golf and Emerald Coast Bait and Tackle, and they've got some big news on basically multiple fronts of those businesses. So I'm certain that we're going to be talking about the Candy Cane Classic alongside that, but we're really excited to be talking about it and lifting her and her businesses up because she and her husband Joshua do so much for the community, and they really allow me to run wild on their Goofy Golf course and act the fool and be a kid and use it as my playground and thank you. And they also ran a commercial during Choctaw football. And why does Goofy Golf Goofy Golf doesn't need to run a commercial on the radio, and they did that for me. So I'm going to do what I can for them to lift them up. And it's still one of the coolest family experiences around. Even on a non-Candy Cane Classic day, a family of 4 can play around a Goofy Golf for around $20. And they're doing awesome things like we're not gonna spoil what those awesome things are because we're going to talk about Anna. We're going to let Anna Calhoun of Goofy Golf share those with us on the backside of the next break. You're listening to Dan Diamond in the Morning with Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks. Thanks for listening. All right. Yeah, are you going to stick around for the last segment? Or?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Hello.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Good to see you. You're all the way.
Construction event there. It's just the peppermint mocha. You get my fake wine.
What was the question, Kevin? Anyway, this is where the magic's gonna happen. You've done this before.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
So you'll use that
Okay.
microphone and
That far
one
away.
of those headsets there.
Okay.
We still got about 3-4 minutes. 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes.
Okay. How's it going?
Oh,
How's
it's
the show
going
been?
really well. It's going well. You know, I could use some sponsors, but people are starting to come to me a little bit more. I'm in the beginning. It was like, how can I fill this block? And it's 2 hours of radio is hard. It's not like music where it's like, and that was Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. That was my first ever favorite song in second grade. And this is Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. And then you get to take like 4-minute break, and you can even record that and like be done with your whole show 20 minutes later because you've just recorded all those little nuggets. But no,
Right.
I've got 2 hours to fill, and people don't call. No one calls anymore.
You were gonna call earlier, didn't you?
Well, we call people.
Right.
We call, give the phone number out. But see, because they don't use the phone the way that the phone
No.
was invented
No, people
for.
like to text.
No, they comment on Facebook and text, but they don't want to fucking call. They don't even know how to call. What's an area code anymore? This is a radio rant ready to happen.
Well,
So.
and we have 2 area codes because remember they ran out of 850s apparently.
Man. it's-
Like so now I can see the other one and I'm like, that is the new one.
And do you dial 1 before the area code or not? I mean, I don't know the rules anymore.
They should just save your number in their phones. They just hit it. Just
Yeah.
hit
Yeah.
Gareth at work. That's what there should be.
It would be very helpful though if I could get some call because it gives me a different perspective. It gives me a chance because I get accused of using $1.37 words, and a lot of that is just me trying to add syllables so I can think of like the next thing that I'm gonna say.
$1.37 words.
Yeah, well that's a perfect example. Extra syllables, so it's like
Right.
okay, what can I say after that? So it's anyway, 2 hours of that's tough.
I bet. Even somebody that enjoys talking.
Yeah, and by the way, this is my friend Kevin's YouTube's thing, so
okay.
you haven't said anything incriminating, but I use the F-bomb a lot, and I've complained about people not calling, so fucking call, 850-374-3468.
YouTube, you can get away with that.
I was looking to see if there was a goofy ball I found some other songs. No goofy ball song, unfortunately. Yeah, kind of suggested that if there was one, you were probably going to be the one who's
We can get him out there to do that. Maybe we can like get a recording, like a Gareth music video.
Dude, you know what? We may have stumbled onto something, for sure. We are joined, and well, first of all, you are listening to Dan Diamond in the Morning. Do not change your radio dial. Dan has been on vacation all week, and he has been, we've been the co-host all week, so hopefully he'll invite us back again sometime. Can't wait to get some feedback from his listeners. If you want to give us a call, you can give us a call at the studio at 850-374-3468. It goes a long way to help fill up 2 hours of radio time. I was talking with Miss Anna Calhoun and during the break, the people just don't call radio shows anymore, I guess. Or maybe they don't like me, but I think it's more of just we don't use our phones as phones anymore. We use them to text and to complain about crap on Facebook and to surf the internet and to doom scroll, but we don't actually use it for the purpose that Alexander Graham Bell intended 147 years ago. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning. Did you have your coffee yet?
You know, I'm not a coffee drinker. I'm
okay,
a diet
water?
soda guy.
Diet soda?
And an occasional Adderall, but no Adderall this morning because sometimes the ADHD brain it's both a kryptonite and superpower, and we've only got 20. I was told there'd be no math, but I want to be able to nap later, so that's the reason why no Adderall. Okay, I want to be able to not even so much nap early in the morning, but just continue sleeping because I've been here since 4 o'clock.
Well, and you have a long day tomorrow.
I do. Oh my lord, we do have a long day tomorrow. Let's talk about that. The Candy Cane Classic at Goofy Golf tomorrow, Saturday, December 20th. putting off at 10 a.m. For my sponsors who are going to be filling the course with all sorts of whatever they want, the holiday decorations, theming relative to their business. They're going to be, I have sponsors spread all throughout the course, and they can begin setting up as early as 8 a.m. It looks like the Grinch is staying away, and it looks like it might get a little brisk in the morning, but it's going to warm up to about the mid 50s by the time that we're teeing off. That's perfect December 20th weather as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's perfect putt-putt weather and Florida weather at that. Like,
Yeah, indeed. And it is going to be the wackiest round of Goofy Golf you have ever played. There's going to be interesting rules throughout. At times, you're going to have to switch to the other side. So if you're left-handed, you'll play right-handed and vice versa. There will be times where you'll have to flip the club around and use it as a pool cue. There's just going to be wacky rules all throughout, and each team is going to take a hole individually at the very beginning and kind of rotate like the gears of a clock. You're going to have 2 minutes to complete each hole, and both courses are going to be played by all teams. And I've got a tiebreaker scenario lined up because there's a couple holes that are actually kind of difficult, and I think that we'll be able to get some clear separation if there's some ties. And I've got side games at the Snake's Mouth. This is what's really cool, is we are partnering with Fresh Start for Children and Families, which is a really, really nice nonprofit organization that gives a hand up, not a hand out, to families that are seeking a second opportunity at life, at success in the workplace, at home. It's families with children, and there are certain steps and check marks that they have to participate in and accomplish in order to receive the benefits of Fresh Start for Children and Families. It's just a great, great organization. I had Miss Donna Tashik on the radio earlier this week to talk about it. And Anna, thank you so much just for allowing us to use your very historic space for this great cause tomorrow.
we are super excited, and I've always loved Fresh Start for Children and Families, but did not even realize all the details that went into it until I heard you talking to Donna the other day about it. So we are super excited to be a part of it, and I mean, it's Goofy Golf. Who's not gonna love it?
You were right. And speaking of Goofy Golf, I can hear you guys talking. Speaking of Goofy Golf, and leveling up, you sent me a video earlier this week, which it just brought me some joy. Now, I want to give you flowers. You and Joshua have done an incredible job since purchasing the property of adding paint. Yes. And replacing greens that had been all kind of pockmarked and torn up. You put artificial turf down that stays green all year round. You put a perfectly great barrier fence it's very welcoming. You decorate for the holidays. You go all out. Now, there's always going to be the detractors out there that are always, I remember back in my day when the windmill did the windmill spinning and Mickey and the Donald did the thing. Well, can you update our listeners on the big change that's happening at Goofy Golf?
So if you've been to Goofy Golf lately, so we fixed the castle. Oh, I don't know, probably last year. We put a new castle in. All of our pieces have motors, but it's just getting the fine tuning of getting them turned on. And I sent you a lovely picture of the bridge going to the castle now working. So right. It is, and it does the same little tick and slam and all of the things that it used to do. It's got the same little creaky
noise.
Yes. Even though it's new, I feel like that's just part of the nostalgia part of it. So we were really trying to get some more moving parts and pieces going before Candy Cane Classic. But the good news is the grandfather clock in the back, we got that one going first. That was last year. And then this year we were able to get the castle going. So in the wheel, we have it. It's ready to go. We have it all going. It's just, working with 1958 parts. Mm-hmm. So we've had some amazing friends that have a welding company and then that have they have great memories of growing up and playing Goofy Golf. So they have been doing all these different things. Josh comes up with these ideas and how to fix it, and then they just fab things up and bring it over. So we do have the giant wheel We actually have the base for the wheel to be supported is back on
Okay,
the
great.
thing, so you'll see that tomorrow.
And when you say the
If
wheel, let's because not everyone is in tune to Goofy Golf, but this is the hole that I don't know 10 years or so ago there was a traffic accident and the car veered into the hole. This is the hole that's directly to the right of the ticket counter when
Correct.
you're purchasing your tickets.
Yep, it's blue and white. It goes up, and if you don't hit it just right, it goes down those wonderful little holes that you get all the way down the side. And we have customers that don't know where their ball went, and then we have
That's
to show
right.
there's this little bitty side over here where now you're at a 4.
That's one of those holes that's very difficult to get a hole in one on because you only kind of get one shot as it comes down the hill, and
Yep.
there's a I don't know, the bricks are a little bit separated on that one, or you
Yes.
don't always get the best bounce back. So anyway, that's just my.
Well, and
my
the bricks
Goofy Golf
are
rhythm.
that one, and there's one other one that we have. If you hit the ball just right, the ball actually goes completely through the bricks. We've
Really?
decided not to fix that because I feel like that's just part of it.
That should actually count as something. I don't know if you can achieve that. That's actually really cool. Now Goofy Golf is just one of those generational places that you can bring your kids back to, and you can make your own new memories with them, and it's one of those constants in the area. I don't know how else to succinctly explain it, but you can orient yourself around town by starting from there. Everyone's got a memory that's tied there. I'm so thankful that you have allowed us to partner with you and Fresh Start for Children and Families to pull off this Candy Cane Classic. I'm so happy that the Grinch appears to be staying away. We're going to be having all that rain that we saw yesterday. It is completely moved through. We're going to have nothing but sunshine, maybe a little bit of a brisk to the air, but that's what we expect in December.
It's Christmas.
And you're gonna have a Christmas holiday atmosphere there, right? You're probably gonna have some Christmas music playing over the
Oh, of
loudspeakers,
course.
and they do it right at Goofy Golf. I mean, it's going to be the wackiest round of Goofy Golf ever played, and you don't have to even play tomorrow. You can just show up and experience. Santa Claus is going to be there. I don't know how he's finding time because I'm seeing that he's making appearances all around town this weekend. But he's booked himself for 2 hours tomorrow at the Candy Cane Classic. You can come get your picture taken there. You can also check out some old memorabilia that I'm going to be bringing from my personal collection and just putting on display around the course, just as an added bonus for people's viewing entertainment. That's going to be at the Candy Cane Classic. Thank you so much this morning for joining us this morning, Anna Calhoun. You rock. Tell us a little bit about Brady. Do we have time? Brady, how much time? 5 minutes? 5 seconds? 15 seconds.
15
All right.
seconds.
Do you want to stick around and tell us a little bit about your bait store?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, great. But then we're gonna stick around with Anna Calhoun for one more segment because she's got her thumb on the pulse of a lot of different entrepreneurial things in this community. You're listening to Dan Diamond in the morning. Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks substituting for him. Stick around.
Just
Yeah.
fill in your space. See, you got it.
Yeah, definitely. Seriously, like I honestly didn't know what I was gonna do with the last 12-minute segment anyway. So if you can eat a couple of minutes of that, talking
Yeah.
about Emeralco's bait and tackle,
We can do that.
I will scratch your
No
back. You
problem.
scratch
No
mine.
problem with talking about my business.
Exactly, right? So
if somebody does have a problem with talking about their businesses, they probably shouldn't be in business anymore.
mhm.
Oh, but we are super excited. We have Josh had. I don't know if he sent me the photo the other day. It is crazy to me how many people. So when we took a photo of the before and after when we did the turf and the sign, or not the sign, but the fence, we took a picture because it's the sign, and we did a before and after. And one person was like, "Fix the wheel or bust. I'm not coming to you. Fix the wheel." And I'm like, "Thanks, Einstein." Like, and one person's like, "We really need to work on that sign." I'm like, "We're trying, but all of Fort Walton has an opinion on what you do in Goofy Golf. Like, all of them. You've seen it.
Yes.
Like, I think I've tagged you in a couple things. Like, what do you think, Garrett? Like, they turn around and
It'll never be good
one person
enough.
was like, "Fix the sign," and I'm like, "We're trying." And the one person was like, "We'll get a comment. You have to keep it neon." I would love to. We're trying,
Yeah.
but
The little
neon
lights
is
aren't
so-
twinkling, just like Clark Griswold's father-in-law when he did all that work. I know, Art, and thanks for noticing. That's everyone's art, you know?
Everyone. And I'm like, God bless. We're trying. Like,
He worked really hard on this thing. So do washing machines. I never really got that line, but still, that's art.
like, it was ridiculous. They did. One person was like, like you can't do LEDs, you can't do LEDs, and I'm like, I understand that the LED isn't the nostalgia of it. However, if I can't find someone to install the neon,
Yeah.
we do have a company that will make the neon, and then we have a company over here that will install the neon. When we made a comment about that, people were sending me notes from people from New York and the Midwest. Hey, they do neon. I'm like, how are we gonna ship it?
Yeah.
Like, neon's fragile.
Yeah.
I don't think it would do
It's not
really
that
well.
easy.
Like,
It's not that easy.
and it's a big piece. The frame is a big piece. It's several big pieces that go on there. So it's not a bunch of tiny little pieces that they could just pack and fragile and ship
Right.
it here. But we are working on that too.
We getting close? 1 minute? Okay.
But it has been super fun though, being able to fix it all and get it going. Josh made the joke the other day that he was like, all right, we fixed one thing this year, we'll fix something else next year.
Mhm.
Here it is. So here's the frame. He was able to put the
perfect.
frame back on there, and then the wheel will go in. We talked about going ahead and putting it on, but then we'd have to zip tie 'cause there's a disconnect over there because the wiring was from 1958.
Yeah.
Like,
Bit by bit. Give it to someone special. And that, of course, is George Michael, who died on Christmas Day. That was ironically his last Christmas.
Sad.
And I don't know how else to. Is that a joke or is that just a fact? I mean, it's both, I guess. And it's definitely too soon, regardless. But yeah, that's the irony. He sang a song called Last Christmas and then died on Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
holidays. Happy Hanukkah. And I'm happy to have Anna Calhoun, owner of Goofy Golf and Emerald Coast Bait and Tackle and a charter company, which
Yep.
the name is escaping me right now. But you have a lot of entrepreneurial endeavors going on in the community, and one of the big ones related to Emerald Coast Bait and Tackle. Well, I don't want to steal your thunder. Tell the community what's going on.
We're moving. We bought a building. So we are the old Bells and Whistles building right across from Midas and Habitat for Humanity on Eglin Parkway. So we only moved a little bit over a mile away, but we have had our customer base is phenomenal, and we are growing. And if anybody's been in there in the last year or two, we are busting at the seams in there. So we got this building at the beginning of the year. And my husband is insanely handy, as we can see at Goofy Golf. So he's been doing a lot of work in that building, got it prepped and ready, and we did our soft opening last week. So we're in both locations for about a month because people don't like change very well. Everybody's been positive about it, but trying to get everybody adjusted to visiting the new location and seeing it, this nice pretty building. And we don't have bait in there yet, so it smells lovely in there right now. We will move that over here soon, but so right now it's open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 4, and then January 6th is our hard close date for the old location in Mariner Plaza, right next to AJ's on the Bayou. That's the old location. We will move out of that one, and then everybody will just have to come to the new location. The new location will have our same hours, 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day of the week except Christmas.
Was it just a space issue?
Oh, a space issue. We were coming up on our lease as well, so it was kind of one of those things of, do we look to purchase a building? Do we stay because the next lease would be another 5-year lease, so we'd be there locked in for 5 years. Even if we did find a building in that 5 years, we still would have basically a mortgage and a lease, and we didn't really want to do that. So
Okay, and for our listeners, can you just geographically orient them once again to where the new bait shop is going to be?
yeah, so if you go down Eglin Parkway, there's you pass like Starcade, and then there's the Chicago hot dog stand place, which We are right next to it. It's a big gray building on, if you're going south on Eglin Parkway, we'll be on the right. Midas, directly across from Midas and Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, all right. Big things going on for Emerald Coast Bait and Tackle and Goofy Golf. We're going to have the Candy Cane Classic tomorrow. We talked about that in the last segment. We can't talk about it enough. This is our last chance, really, to talk about it because it's tomorrow. And 24 hours from now, I'm probably going to be pretty stressed out on your property. And I'm just going to I'm going to apologize in advance for the wacky nature of the way my brain is going to be firing on all cylinders tomorrow. I'm going to be a bit of a control freak and also wanting it for it to be just over. I'm looking forward to having a great time. But
You're ready for it to start.
I want.
Then we can't do anything else about it once it starts.
And then my vacation can actually begin inside my head because mentally I'm on the clock for the next 20, 30 hours. But in a good way. Like I live for this. And I came up with this idea. This is going to be so much fun. Santa Claus is coming. I get to put my stuff on display. We get to put your course on display. You put so much work, blood, sweat, and tears, metaphorical, whatever. But we've got gears moving. We've got the castle trapdooring. And we've got the clock pendulum swinging. And it's all sorts of crazy things are happening. Dogs and cats are starting to live together down there at Goofy Golf. Tomorrow at the Candy Cane Classic, have you ever had the desire to practice getting good at the snake's mouth? Well, for a donation to Fresh Start for Children and Families, you can get a few balls, a little bucket of balls, and take several shots at the snake's mouth. Because the snake's mouth hole itself, sponsored by Amber and Ben Merrill of Soundside. Thank you very much, Amber and Ben Merrill, for sponsoring my the snake's mouth hole. That's not going to be part of the actual tournament play until the finals itself. We can't not include it in the finals. But because the snake's mouth is part of both courses, it would kind of gum up the works to include it in the first round. I need every team to kind of rotate at the same time around the course. So in the meantime, while the snake's mouth is not being utilized in gameplay, we're going to have Fresh Start for Children and Family fundraising opportunities, practice at the snake's mouth. We'll also around the course have opportunities where you can buy a mulligan. You can pay $10. I didn't like the shot that I just made because it went through the side hole and now I'm not going to have a good shot lined up for my second shot. I would like a do-over. You can make a $10 donation to Fresh Start for Children and Families as a mulligan. You could essentially buy your way to the championship trophy. And I hope someone does. I do hope that someone does. And the trophies, there's 3 of them. There's going to be a trophy for 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. They're provided by the Trophy Center, one of your neighbors right down the street. And I'm actually going to be picking them up right as soon as this show ends. But I've been sent a picture, and they look glorious. They look awesome. They look like something that I would want to put on the mantle and have as bragging rights in preparation to defend for next year's Candy Cane Classic. And it's all for a good cause. It's going to be fun regardless of whether you're playing or spectating. Santa Claus is going to be there. Hills Meeting and Air. Why do I keep saying it that way? Mills Heating and Air are going to be providing s'mores for all of us. We're going to have a food truck from the Rohde Brothers. They're going to be providing food as well. And I can't put a time frame on when this event's going to end, Anna. I don't think it'll go beyond 1. It might not go beyond 12. I don't know. It's hard to calculate. But thank you for giving us the space and the opportunity to try to pull this off.
Hey, we are super excited, and I have no idea what time either. We didn't put a time limit on it because we want people to have fun. We want to support Fresh Start, and so there's no telling. You did put because everybody's playing both courses, which I think is super fun because sometimes one course doesn't necessarily get as much love as the other one. So people get to see all the fun stuff, and we have Christmas decorations galore everywhere. We have the Abominable Snowman. He is talking, and then we've got our, I think we've got a Nutcracker there now. We've got a teddy bear. We've got all sorts of our own decorations because we're obsessed with Christmas.
And I will be setting up my own, I will be bringing tables and putting out old postcards and old matchbooks and old football programs and yearbooks and maps and advertising tchotchkes from my own personal collection, just to give you something else to look at and touch and experience as you meander your way through the golf course.
And can people still register to play the 4 people, or are we full?
I've still got a few slots left.
Okay.
Yeah. I could probably fit maybe 6 or 7 comfortably.
You did that. You just heard what you just said.
Oh my
right?
lord! I just did.
I have
that.
kids, so that's all I hear. Trying to use different numbers now.
Normally, I would actually, I would have planned that and specifically said that with appropriate intent. That was entirely accidental and hilarious. I love it.
You
I
don't
love
realize
it.
how many times you say it, especially if you're around kids. Like, and then you're like, all right, we're using different numbers now.
Did the hand motion just evolve out of like what came first? The numbers or the hand motion
The
or did
chicken or the egg?
I mean, because I feel like at first 6, 7 meant something, and then it sort of I don't know.
It's evolved.
But the hand thing wasn't always there from the beginning, was it? I felt like that was Brady. You would probably know more than anything. I'm gonna have to enlist your assistance. I know you were having a side convo there, but the origin of 6, 7, when it popped up, was the hand movement part of it, or did that kind of evolve as like a secondary? Yeah.
The joke itself actually evolved with a WNBA player,
I knew he'd know this. I knew you'd know this.
He's like a younger version of you.
And then the adults were trying to apply their own meaning, thinking that it had some sort of dirty intent or something. And back in my day, you should have known all of our innuendo type things. And anyway, thank you for the etymology of the origin of the term 6, 7 and the hand movements that went with it. Well, do you want to take us home then?
I can. Thank you all for tuning in to the Dan Diamond Show in the morning. You've been listening to us cover all week. This is Stern's morning. Garrett stepping up and taking the show all week. Thankless job he works. Thank you, Garrett, for taking over. And as far as where you can see us, 3 to 5, what we are doing will be on today. So, I mean, we're in more than 2 days. Let's see what we'll talk about things going on in the community. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful Friday afternoon.
He's great. He's
Perfect.
great. He's great. Thank you, Anna.
No
You
problem.
rock. You rock.
That was fun.
Our show that's at 3 to 5. Like someday, I actually want to do that from Goofy Golf. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I want to take
absolutely.
my show on the road. So,
Oh, I was gonna ask you. The reason why I was asking because somebody else asked me if there was still availability. My kiddos want to be a team.
okay. I mean, I can run them down right now.
Okay. I'll give you money.
Okay.
I'll
No,
give you
gotcha.
the cash tomorrow.
Okay, so 24, and that'll be Anna Calhoun. Okay, got you.
Sweet. It is
Sweet.
the kids, so it's Lily and Finley, my little ones, and then I said little, what our 12-year-old's taller than me, but and then their friends
Okay.
that they really enjoy playing golf, but they were like, "Can kids do it?" And I was like,
Yes.
"It's Goofy Golf, why not?"
Yes.
Like so, they are super excited. So I told them I
Awesome.
would touch base with you today and make sure that they could get added in as a team.
I may be there as early as 7:30, just
Go for
to
it.
get my bearings.
No, I'll be there.
All right,
I won't
cool.
be there at 7:30, but
Okay,
I will
okay.
be there probably about 8:30.
All right,
I will
perfect.
be extra set of hands, whatever you need help with.
All right, thank
This
you.
is your circus.
All right, thanks, Anna. You rock.
No problem. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm probably not as good as you are with me. You know, I was thinking about you, and we think of our show, and you have another show that's not good, more people that are inspired, and really, that's how it's called, because you're on you can do it right at the beginning of the show if you want. If you want to do the show begins at 3:06 Central Time. Okay. All right, well, I will have my producer, Brady, give you a call right around 3:02. Okay? Perfect. Yeah, I want you to be raw in your motion and share it all. Well, I don't know if you know, I said shit on the air, and that's it was a well-placed shit, so, but I did say absolute happiness, so you're in a shit line, but, I think you did that one. But we'd love to have you on in your perspective. Now, were you there on site, or did you get that's what you saw, what you witnessed the process? Sure. Well, I don't want any spoilers. Don't tell me any spoilers yet. I want to get it all fresh at 3:06. All right, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay. All right. Some cases have it on site, some cases have it